Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as a rose, and hair as black as ebony. Snow White's kindness and beauty were admired by everyone except her wicked stepmother, the queen. The queen, who possessed a magic mirror, would often ask it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror would always reply, "You, O queen, are the fairest of them all." This pleased the queen, as she was obsessed with being the most beautiful in the kingdom. But as Snow White grew older, her beauty only increased. One day, when the queen asked her mirror the same question, the mirror responded, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true. But Snow White is even fairer than you." The queen was furious. In her jealousy, she ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and get rid of her. "Bring me back her heart," she demanded, to prove that Snow White was gone forever. The huntsman, however, could not bring himself to harm the sweet and gentle Snow White. Instead, he told her of the queen's evil plan and urged her to run far away into the forest, where she would be safe. Snow White ran as fast as she could, deeper and deeper into the dark, frightening forest. She was scared and alone, but after a long time, she stumbled upon a charming little cottage. Exhausted, she knocked on the door, but no one answered. Gathering her courage, she pushed the door open and stepped inside. The cottage was tiny, with 7 little beds, 7 little chairs, and 7 little plates. Snow White was so tired that she decided to lie down and rest on one of the beds. She soon fell into a deep sleep. Later that evening, the owners of the cottage returned home. They were 7 dwarfs who worked in the mines, digging for precious gems. When they entered their cottage, they were surprised to find Snow White sleeping there. "Who is this lovely girl?" they wondered. "Let's not wake her up. We can ask her in the morning." The next day, Snow White explained her story, and why she was hiding from the wicked queen. The dwarfs felt sorry for her and invited her to stay with them. Snow White agreed and quickly became friends with all the dwarfs, whose names were Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. Every day, the dwarfs would go to work in the mines, leaving Snow White alone in the cottage. Before they left, they would warn her, "Be careful, Snow White. Don't let anyone inside, especially strangers." Meanwhile, the wicked queen discovered that Snow White was still alive. Furious, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Disguising herself as an old peddler woman, she brewed a poison and dipped a shiny red apple into it. "This will put her to sleep forever," she cackled. The queen went to the dwarf's cottage and knocked on the door. Snow White peered outside and saw the kind-looking old woman holding a basket of apples. "Would you like to try one, dear?" asked the queen sweetly. Snow White remembered the dwarf's warning, but the apple looked so delicious that she couldn't resist. She took a single bite, and as soon as she did, she fell to the ground, fast asleep. When the dwarfs returned home that evening, they found Snow White lying lifeless on the floor. They were heartbroken. No matter what they did, they could not wake her up. Believing she was gone forever, they placed her in a beautiful glass coffin in the forest, where they could always watch over her. Days and weeks passed. One day, a prince who had heard tales of Snow White's beauty came to see her. When he looked at her, he fell deeply in love. Overcome with sorrow, he leaned down and gently kissed her forehead. Suddenly, Snow White's eyes fluttered open. The prince's kiss had broken the spell, and Snow White awoke, alive and well.